What's your favorite number one XQC streamer reactor? My name is French.
The year is 2014, and
4chan versus
ISIS is the
ISIS?
largest terrorist organization in the modern world. Known for their series of devastating attacks, they are feared by both people and governments all around the globe. Through the power of the internet, they shared their propaganda and recruited vulnerable individuals from
Wow.
virtually every corner of the planet. However, at the height of their power, a group of hackers named Anonymous made it their mission to combat them
Oh,
and
what? I thought they were talking about.
save innocent lives while doing so. From deadly explosions to
I thought
trolling and
the frog
exposing
guy
members of
was.
terrorist
I didn't know it was
organizations, to
ISIS.
4chan Special Task Force being born, to even working with the FBI and counter-terrorists. This is the story of 4chan's fight against terrorism.
Yeah. Memes against war.
Throughout
Is
the
there a
early
meme that
2010s,
started
terrorist
a war?
organizations began to harness the power of the internet, ramping up their recruitment by
Oh,
targeting
me.
vulnerable individuals in
I
hopes they
said
could
like.
manipulate them to do
Oh,
their bidding. They did this by launching campaigns across many social media platforms, such as Telegram, AskFM, Facebook, Instagram, and their most successful platform,
Jesus.
Twitter. This
What?
website had become the centerpiece of ISIS recruitment efforts, as they could reach individuals from all around the
ISIS.
world, and Twitter had
I
difficulty
thought.
finding and banning all of their
Didn't
accounts. On
believe
top of
in
this, it was much easier for them to hack Twitter accounts,
magic in
giving
a
the
young
illusion
girl's
that
heart.
tons of regular people were joining ISIS. By doing this, they were able to trick more individuals than ever before to join their ranks. After wild successes in recruiting people from around the globe, this became a key component for not only ISIS, but terrorist organizations everywhere. It literally allowed them to passively gather soldiers from all around the world, and at the
Fake
time,
news.
ISIS was gaining members at an alarming rate, indoctrinating people from the comfort of their own homes.
Do you think people were just joining as like fucking memes? Like they didn't believe in. No way, dude. No way, bullshit. ISIS didn't never existed. Conspiracy? They never exist. Oh, war
It was
begins. This is a whole war about it. Oh no.
clear that ISIS was quickly becoming a global organization,
Was it
and only a
real?
few began to take notice. However,
When
Western
was
journalists
this?
began to document all of the strange
2014.
pro-ISIS accounts that seemed to have sprung up on Twitter. After a thorough look,
I
they
was in
found
high
a whole
school.
network of sleeper agents throughout the entire platform. A lot of these accounts were spamming pro-ISIS religious propaganda across the internet. Of course, they found that most of these accounts belonged to real individuals and were hacked by the cyber terrorist divisions, which further reached every corner of social media sites.
The story of how a group that we'll refer to here as ISIS has been able to raise its profile and bolster its fighting ranks is due in large part to the scope and sophistication of its online media operations. ISIS appears to have 4
I
or
heard a
possibly
noise.
more
I'm like,
main media outlets. These accounts can attract
get
a
after
few
me, chat.
hundred to many thousands of followers. To further spread their Twitter posts, followers use popular hashtags like hashtag World Cup and USA, so their tweets end up on other Twitter feeds that will be potentially seen by millions of people not necessarily looking for jihadi content.
Should I hashtag fucking chat? Tell me what to hashtag. ISIS was hashtagging World Cup, World World Fair, Goblin World Fair. I looked up. We have a screenshot of Gemini. We talked about fungus illuminations because torches burn oxygen, and goblins need to breathe oxygen even if they're underground. Okay. Yeah, but ISIS is using World Cup hashtag World Cup. What other ones, actually? I'm gonna start putting them. Brazil World Cup 2014. What if I start doing 2014 World Cup for my shit? Hashtag USA? Who does that? I might start doing that. Hashtag USA. Hashtag Brazil World Cup 2014.
USA, so their
People be like,
tweets end up
why?
on other Twitter feeds that will be potentially seen by millions of
Because
people
I want you to
not
look at my
necessarily
stuff?
looking for jihadi content.
Who's
While
that, dude?
governments worldwide did little to stop the spread of ISIS's online recruitment,
Obama.
people across the globe were falling into their trap, and it was clear that someone had to do something to combat it. But then, the unexpected would happen. 4chan's hacker group Anonymous would lose control of one of their Twitter accounts, and an ISIS hacker would tweet a pro-ISIS combat video depicting an assault
Oh,
near
they're probably real
Baghdad.
mad, huh?
Quickly, Anonymous was able to regain control of the account, and they were absolutely furious with ISIS, so they decided to take matters into their own hands and released a video to the public.
To the citizens of the world,
This
we
guy's
are
got
anonymous.
fly
The
ass
events
hair.
currently transpiring in Iraq have made us as a collective reevaluate our priorities in regards to recent operations. We are asking you to please The
Mamma
Iraqi
mia.
people have gone
Pizza,
through almost
pizza,
2
pizza,
weeks of
pizza.
sheer terror
Dude,
most
not
of
sure
us
if the
will
hand
never
should be
know
good.
nor experience. We are held by
Well, I
code
mean,
of honor to
let's...
protect those who are defenseless, both in the cyber
Is he
world
gonna
and the real
interlock them
world. These
every time?
savages who have no
Oh,
religion or morality are bent on burning
and we're
everything
back.
in their path, killing and
Oh,
pillaging as
cut.
they go.
We're back.
They
Oh.
must be stopped.
I
Several
love,
days
dude.
ago,
Oh, wait.
their electronic division
What's
assumed
happening?
control of
I was
one of
too
our
in...
Twitter accounts, claiming it for themselves and releasing several graphic photos of their assault near Baghdad. These tweets have since been deleted. We sincerely apologize to the Twitter followers who had to witness this without warning. To the state of Qatar, Turkey, and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, you will not escape our wrath. Evidence shows your
What are they...
continued support and supply
Did
to
this
ISIS.
age bad? Well...
If this does not promptly stop, we will be forced to unleash our entire legion against your pathetic excuse of a cybersecurity. And to the United States, another attempt at fueling
like I'm
your
throwing up gang signs.
military-industrial complex for the sake of security and democracy will be grounds for
Hey,
our
I learned
complete
how to do
assault
this
against
today,
your
actually.
virtual government infrastructure. You have been warned. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
I love you, chat.
ISIS
Oh wait,
was
what
quite
was
literally
this about?
everything that Anonymous
Oh,
hated
ISIS.
in this world. From their extreme
We don't like
ideology
ISIS.
to their mass killings
Hey,
of
ISIS.
civilians, Anonymous knew that they had to do whatever they could to
That's
put an
what I
end to
think
this
about it.
madness. So they decided to begin their
Look at
fight
this.
where ISIS gets their
This is what I
unseen
think about
strength,
Anonymous.
their recruitment. If Anonymous could put an end
Only the
to
good
ISIS's
guys are
online
anonymous, so
recruitment,
it's like the
then they would
police
lose their
force.
hidden
There is
global
bad.
power. It would no longer have their
Hey,
steady
Anonymous.
flow of volunteer soldiers lurking inside countries around the world.
This is what I think
Hashtag
about
Operation
ISIS.
ISIS would then be born, and Anonymous would get to work, systematically pursuing these social media accounts
Yeah.
to take them down.
Those are my
When they
gang
found an
signs.
account that was clearly
I'll talk to you.
compromised or had ISIS propaganda,
I
they would
feel
then
you
spam
judging
report
me.
it
I'm like-
so that the moderators would see it and take it down. Anonymous also compiled a
Wait,
list
what?
of accounts for the public, so that more people than ever would be combining their forces to spam report
Stripping.
all these propaganda accounts on social media. Because Anonymous has thousands of members from around the globe,
What?
the barrage of reports would quickly result in bans. On top of this, there were users looking for these accounts around the clock. As soon as the American Anons headed to sleep, the Europeans would get to work. Then
Oh.
later, the Russians, and even Australians. It was literally a global movement.
Global
ISIS could barely keep up,
Anonymous.
and their army of propaganda accounts was rapidly depleting. From Twitter to Instagram to even Facebook, Anonymous was able to take down hundreds of thousands of these accounts, saving countless amounts of lives while doing so. Even though Operation ISIS seemed to be going well, everything would take a turn for the worst. On the 7th of January,
I'm sorry.
2015,
Anonymous is not America only, and that's why it's so wholesome. Because if someone wants to be like, I'm a good guy, in somewhere else,
the
I'm
time
like,
is 11:30 a.m. in Paris,
But the
France, and
spirit
two
that
masked
guides all
individuals
of us.
armed with automatic rifles would enter a building
Man,
owned by the
there's
French
a-
magazine Charlie Hebdo. The gunmen opened
Fireworks going
fire
off in
on
the
innocent
background.
civilians, injuring 11 and killing 12. After the gunmen fled the scene, a manhunt was launched to find them. It would take nearly 2 days, but with the help of Anonymous, French special forces were able to track them down, and after a long firefight, they were able to eliminate them successfully. However, during this time, the
You see
attack was
those
followed by
Pepes
several
just get
others,
fucking
creating mass
sliced?
panic and civil unrest in France. After police raided the homes of these attackers, they found out that they were terrorist foot soldiers recruited by ISIS. Along with this, they discovered that Charlie Hebdo was specifically targeted because some of the cartoons they released mocked ISIS religious beliefs. Even though it was just harmless jokes, ISIS thought differently and made many people within that organization
Have it
pay
make
with
jokes.
their lives. This
Please,
created an
leave me
uproar
alone.
within France, and millions of people, along with 40 world leaders, would all come
If
together
I
for a
die
vigil
early,
in honor
I'll
of
be
the
like, I
dead.
expected
But it wasn't
that.
just that.
He
It was a
never wanted
movement
to
where
be here
people gathered in
anyways.
unity
I'm like,
against
no,
ISIS.
I
But these
tried, my
demonstrations
bad.
not only occurred in France, they happened worldwide. Because of the attacks, Anonymous released another video.
Greetings, citizens of the world. We are
Anonymous drop?
Operation ISIS continues. First, we need to clarify
Check out the
a
base.
few things. We are Muslims, Christians, Jews. We are hackers, crackers,
When
activists,
Anonymous drops
fishers,
new song?
agents, spies, or just the guy from next door. We are students, administrators, workers, clerks, unemployed, rich, poor. We are young or old, gay or
Dude,
straight.
Anonymous?
We wear smart clothes or rugs. We are hedonists, ascetics, joyriders or activists. We come from all races, countries,
Make
religions, and
another
ethnicity.
song.
United as one, divided by zero. We are anonymous.
You can't divide by
Remember,
zero.
the
Tell me a
terrorists that are
calculator has
calling
already
themselves
told you that.
Islamic State, ISIS, are not Muslims.
I forgot this
ISIS, we will hunt you, take down your sites, accounts, emails, and
Wait, this
expose
isn't a
you.
song?
From now on, no safe place for you online. You will be treated like a virus. And
Oh
we
my
are the
God,
cure.
please.
We own the internet. We are anonymous.
Can
We
I
are
be a
legion.
cure?
We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
No, I don't
Leaders of
expect me,
Anonymous
honestly.
declared war
I
on the
might
violent
die.
Islamic extremists.
Like
And
just
with
by
people around the globe by
on
their
my own
side,
hand.
more people than ever
No,
were
I'm
now fully
joking.
committed to destroying any
I'll
online
take
presence ISIS had.
four to
So they
five
continued to report and
peanut
destroy
allergy
accounts that had any
medication.
association with these terrorists. And
See
they were
what
making some
happens.
real progress.
Oh,
But some members of Anonymous
I
wanted
just
to take things to the next level, and they felt
I
like
just
they could do
inject
so
air
much
into my
more.
bloodstream like the
Really, the problem
CIA.
was that even though governments were good at launching complex attacks across the globe, they were virtually useless in managing ISIS's vast presence in
ISIS.
cyberspace.
We're
One
fighting. They
user in
fought
particular with
ISIS
the screen
actually.
name of Sebastian
Anonymous.
Dante Alexander decided to gather some of Anonymous's hackers, who were extremely passionate about taking down ISIS, and even included some ex-members of the US military and former intelligence agents, along with IT and media
Members.
professionals. They created a new hacker organization, which could also be seen as a subgroup within Anonymous, called GhostSec. This organization had one goal: to conduct
With
open cyber warfare against the Islamic
America?
State and obliterate
That's
any other
ballin'.
terrorist group online. Since GhostSec had specific goals to accomplish, and had a more organized structure than Anonymous, they were able to get a lot done in a short period. After hacking numerous social media accounts and intercepting intelligence, GhostSec was able to track down potential ISIS operatives.
Yeah, dude, how come for some reason it doesn't seem like it, but I mean, how come government hackers will never be as cool or as good as just freelance? Like anonymous seems so like it's because you can't specify and like glorify someone's achievements, I guess. And then if they're part of the government, then you could be like, look at all this stuff that he stopped 9/11 or something. Wait a minute, what happened in 2001? I thought you just said you stopped. Yeah, but then it's like, it, for some reason, anonymous, like they should have hackers in the government, yeah? And they probably do. But then I'm like, those are like Timo ass motherfuckers, like compared to anonymous? Like a wish.com hackers, you know what I'm saying? It's like government hackers will never compare. But then it's like, why does the government just work with? But then it's like, oh, anonymous is supposed to be non-governmental, I guess, huh? But then it's like, who, what if Anonymous gets out of hand? Anonymous keeps them in check? I don't even know what that means.
After they found these individuals, they would hand them
The same nobody Cat Williams was talking about is the same nobody who was on the list, and the same nobody who was on the list is the same one that was there who got P. Diddy's lotion bottles. Not joking. Yeah, but then it's like, if nobody's no doing, who does? That's why real life. And that's why somebody, and that's why written down, everything's okay. Maritime law was actually created by the Egyptians. Cleopatra was the first person that was like, hey, you have a mom and you're from somewhere. Let's write it down. And I'm like, baby girl, you balling for that. Yeah, but then it's like, you know, I don't know. Leonardo da Vinci, bro? That guy has a name and is from somewhere. I'm like, what? Some of us have more than one name if you think about it. I have two. It's a first and last name, just like normal people. And then some people have like five or six names in their name. I'm like, well, your parents loved you more than mine. I only got two names. Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, because you ever see the Mexican people with like 400 names? Your parents must have really loved you. I'm very jealous. You got like three or four names, multiple syllables. Wow, dude. No, but then
over to
it's
the
like, what was I even talking about? How did I get myself into that? Oh yeah, they're anonymous. So I'm like, they should team up, because they're probably pretty good hackers.
FBI or
You know what I'm
anti-terrorist
saying?
organizations who would take care of the rest. At one point, GhostSec even intercepted a terrorist plot in Tunisia, where they were planning a bombing in the
I don't think they
Houmet
are.
Market, a crowded area where
Most
many
hacking
locals
is
and
just
tourists
social
visit.
engineering, and I
GhostSec
do
ended up
not believe
reporting
in
them
taking
to
advantage
intelligence
of stupid
operatives within
people.
the United States, and
Because it's
soon
most of the time it's just like they walk into a building and they're like, "Hey, I'm your IT guy," and they're like, "Yeah, we were expecting an IT guy," and then that's how they fucking hack it. I'm like, dude. Sometimes when I hear something like and very rarely is it like a cool John Wick story, It's always like, and Microsoft released an update. I'm like, Microsoft released another update? Since when? And they crowd strike, you know?
After, they were able to make 17 arrests, which extinguished their plan altogether. But this wasn't the only information GhostSec was able to recover. According
Whoa.
to some of the communications they intercepted, there was to be a massive ISIS attack in New York City on the 4th of July.
Okay, 17 arrests out of like billions of possible located ISIS people. That's sick. Yeah, because those are probably, I don't know. Or do you think they just DOS 17 people that like tweeted about ISIS and they're like, yeah, we found them. Just some 14-year-old kid who tweeted about ISIS. They're like, yeah, but he had his location on. This New York City one seems cool
Also
though.
known as US Independence Day, which was only a few days after the attack in Tunisia was meant to happen. Due to the secrecy behind this operation, details on what ISIS was planning are scarce. However, after receiving the information, the FBI apprehended over 10 people, ending their plot in New York City for the time being.
Whoa.
Although GhostSec may have won the fight, ISIS told their followers to carry out any violence they could on behalf of their group, but luckily there was nothing extreme that ended up happening after. In both cases, GhostSec communicated to a
Nothing
man.
happened though. So it's like, so ISIS was growing or something? What the fuck is that? That was real? No, because I think about it and I'm like, haha, I remember it being a meme. Oh, I remember an ISIS meme at some point. But then it's like all happening behind the scenes. Anonymous is fucking finding them and they were fighting ISIS this whole time. What the hell? Shout out to fucking 4chan.
Named Michael Smith
Yeah,
II,
this whole video is called 4chan versus ISIS. I'm like, 4chan, like the website?
a counter-terrorist analyst who
For
worked
like
with government
memes?
agencies to destroy violent extremism. This had one unforeseen effect. It established a real connection between GhostSec and the legal side of counterterrorism. Because of this, the face of GhostSec would eventually
No,
change.
and I'm again, this is like God and stuff, yeah. But then it's like those 4chaners wouldn't be on 4chan. I am 100% sure without memes. Even if they joined for like, oh, this is a coding division and I'm a specialist and there's a chat log or something in here where we specifically talk about uh code. I don't know. Even if they joined 4chan for something serious and then they found this group and then now they're saving the world, it's like technically I feel like they were still there for memes. You know, like something internet mystery meme make you laugh. I don't know, dude. But then it's like that's how they got together and then save the world. Sounds like an Avengers movie. Yeah, because it's like every look at this government guy right here. In 9 to 5, he had no idea he was going to be defending against ISIS. These people just woke up and decided to save the world. You know what I'm saying? It's like this government suit guy is like, yeah, fuck my 9 to 5. I'll worry about it tomorrow. This is like freelance John Wick.
Into something almost entirely different. They were an organization that even without the unlimited resources government agencies had, they were still able to do the impossible and save countless amounts of lives in the process. And what would happen next would be one of the biggest tragedies that modern history
4chan
has ever had
saving
to endure.
lives. Whoa, Paris attacks? I feel like that was a thing.
The usual din
Do we
of a
skip
Paris
it?
Friday night was silenced first by gunshots.
I don't want to. Oh no. Video footage makes it seem like
What
it was
followed was terrified confusion.
1 million years ago.
How many dead and injured isn't clear yet, just that there are dead, many of them, where just a little earlier were people simply out. And
Yo,
quickly,
spooky, scary. I don't even want to say anything, but if you've seen Don't Mess with the Zohan, the end of that movie, there's a quote unquote terrorist attack. And it's the rednecks because Zohan is like Middle Eastern, but they dress up as Middle Easterns to blame it on like a race war. And this movie's in Don't Mess with the Zohan, like a comedy, and they put that in there, but then Adam Sandler, I'm like, he knew something. Like that has to be some sort of governmental stage. Like in the movie, he makes it like, oh, the rednecks. I don't know, dude.
it
But I'm like, yo, Adam Sandler's doesn't believe in Jesus.
all
Not
began to
joking. No,
point
he
to what
does actually, up to the point where he's like, I believe in God so much that my people are scared. So they believe in a different God that does not have a hell. I'm like, I respect that. I don't, but I don't judge you. Oh, Adam Sandler. I'm not allowed to say it. Canceled.
Appears to be a calculated multi-target assault. They, whomever they might
Yeah, but
be,
Kanye West.
reportedly armed with Kalashnikovs and possibly grenades, and police now confirm included 2 suicide bombers.
This was wow. I never heard that before. She just said Kalashnikov or whatever. That's like an AK. AK-47? Like that's the proper name. There's different names for, and then one of them was almost named after. It's like the names are so close. I only know this because of a
On
meme.
the 13th of November 2015,
Fucking
Paris experienced its
Kalashnikov
most
though? What
devastating
is this
terror
lady, a
attack in the country's
Fed?
history. A group of coordinated militants attacked multiple high-density areas, aiming to create as much destruction as possible. These devastating attacks became worldwide news, and countries all over the globe grieved with France. From President Barack Obama to even Vladimir Putin, almost
Obama.
every large country, despite their differences, came together in solidarity
The arch in
with
that guy's back.
France. Citizens would get involved as well, holding vigils in every main city around the world. It was clear France was at war, and many leaders of the world were willing to help put an end to this needless suffering. Because of all this, France, along with the United States and Russia, would then lead a multi-year bombing campaign in hopes they would destroy the group responsible for this. The Paris bombings not only angered Anonymous, but they were absolutely furious and willing to do anything it took to put an end to the radicalized ISIS for good, so they declared an all-out war.
They dropped into the movie.
Friday, November 13th, 2015, our country, France, was attacked in Paris at around 10 p.m. by multiple terrorist attempts claimed by the Islamic State. These attacks cannot remain unpunished, hence the reason why the Anonymous from all over the world will hunt you down. Yes, you vermin that are killing innocent people. We will track you down, as we have been able to do since the attacks of Charlie Hebdo. Therefore, be prepared for a massive reaction from Anonymous. Be advised that we will track you and will not let anything go. We are going to launch the...
It's sad because they have resources. And I understand nowadays it's like the same resources they have to track people is just basically DOSing and other stuff. But it's like, could Anonymous be so good that like they could catch people? But then it's like, wouldn't that be like some sort of crazy invasion of privacy that they're just like, because it's almost like Minority Report, right? Then it's like, couldn't you catch bad guys? You know what I'm saying? But then it's like, if they're buying, but then it's like, what if they buy from different stores? But then it's like, wouldn't that be suspicious? Someone buying random supplies to, you know? I don't know. Like there should be some sort of algorithmic way to
biggest operation ever.
the robots are on our side.
Against you. Expect many cyber attacks. Know it. War has been declared.
This video would quickly get millions of views, and now Anonymous had users from around the world backing them up in the war. In a single day, they managed to take down over 5.5 thousand Twitter accounts, and they even leaked the personal information of countless terrorist sleeper agents. Most of these exposed individuals were instantly arrested and taken in for further questioning. Anonymous and GhostSec were slowly but surely eradicating ISIS just by using the power of the internet.
Make no mistake, hashtag Anonymous is at war with hashtag Daesh. We won't stop opposing hashtag Islamic State. We are also better hackers. Hashtag Operation ISIS.
These actions deeply angered ISIS, and in Telegram groups, they promised a graphic violent end to both Anonymous and GhostSec. However, ISIS was dealing with some internal problems that they began to sort out. Some of their soldiers didn't understand basic cybersecurity practices and were continuously getting hacked, which would leak their intel to these cyber groups. Because of this, the cyber divisions of ISIS trained their soldiers on how to prevent getting hacked.
Not like this, but like why didn't not ISIS, why didn't 4chan? Who's Anonymous? That's what I meant to say. Why didn't Anonymous just like do their shits? Like why are they tweeting about it? I guess, but then it's like, no, I don't understand.
Links or trusting anyone with information online. This would bolster their cyber defenses, which would make it much harder for anyone who wanted to hack them. However, this wouldn't stop Anonymous and GhostSec, so they kept at it. While Anonymous was still focused on taking down social media accounts, GhostSec took things even further. They decided that another way they could fight was if they went after one of their most important assets, their vast network of cryptocurrency that had been given to them by private donors. If they could take their crypto away, then it would be nearly impossible to fund everything they were paying for. So after some digging around, GhostSec managed to uncover a whole series of cryptocurrency wallets associated with the group. And after hacking important targets, GhostSec was able to recover millions of dollars of Bitcoin, all taken from these militant wallets. While doing so, they even scoured the dark web,
Back then, millions of dollars of Bitcoin.
searching for and promptly
Anonymous, bro, tipped themselves big money.
shutting down several Bitcoin collecting sites, where the Islamic State collected their private donations from anyone around the world. They didn't just take down the donation sites though, they also went after every site they owned, such as recruitment, communication, and propaganda sites. The members of GhostSec literally did everything in their power to eliminate any digital assets that ISIS owned. They even ended up trolling them and turned one of their websites into a parody ad for Prozac and Viagra.
Too much ISIS. Enhance your calm. Too many people are into this ISIS stuff. Please gaze upon this lovely ad so we can upgrade our—
See, it's like this is like a public execution of, oh, I don't like that. But then it's like of ISIS with Anonymous. CIA version of it is, I feel like, to almost take him down, but then also it's like to infiltrate and delete, like to make sure no more. What they're doing is like, hey, let's delete your websites. But then it's like, aren't they still there? And they're like, I'm angry. So it's like, delete them. No.
infrastructure to give you ISIS content you also desperately crave.
That is spooky though.
But ISIS wouldn't go down easily, and their
Hold
cyber
on though, who's donating ISIS? Like, now that could track Bitcoin wallets? Bro, we should go back and be like, yo, what were the Bitcoin wallets that you guys took from ISIS? Let's keep backtracking them. Who donated? Honestly, that's what I'm
division
interested
was
in.
working
What the
hard
hell?
to secure their assets. By tracking down the members of GhostSec and Anonymous that were attacking them, it was absolute digital warfare. By the end of 2015, GhostSec had become a notable group in the war against terror. Even though they were respected, they knew that continuing to work as
GhostSec.
vigilantes while not operating under the law was risky, and if ISIS found them, they would be in grave danger. Because of this, some of the members decided that they would form a legitimate company that would work with the government organizations more effectively. So they founded the Ghost Security Group. Today, they have their own website, and while I haven't found much about them, an anonymous source tells me they work directly with the Department of Homeland Security in the United States of America. However, some of the users didn't want to work with the feds, so they would stay in GhostSec, refusing to operate
What?
legitimately.
Yeah,
Even though
that's so cool too, because again, if they're like government hackers, what the heck? They just hired themselves. But also, it's just like I do understand that they would be like, yo, we need protection by the government, but we want to get more skits, and the government's like, hey, bro, you destroyed you fucking destroyed hackers, you destroyed ISIS, you fucking took out ISIS behind a screen. Yeah, you're hired. I'm like, whoa, dude, that's amazing. Yeah, but then also it's like half the group didn't want to join because they're like feds. But then it's like, no, half the group probably isn't even from America. They're just like, ISIS is bad, because it was it was all over the world, right? That is wild.
the group took a massive hit, they would slowly recover some of their lost members, leading us to one of the biggest events in this story.
Oh, there's more? Anonymous trolls ISIS. Oh, they just kept trolling. Very interesting.
Anonymous knew that ISIS used fear to control the people of the world alongside major organizations and governments. Unsurprisingly, this was actually working extraordinarily well. Because of this, Anonymous decided that on December 11, 2015, they would plan coordinated protests across the globe, and they would also flood social media with Photoshop pictures in an attempt to troll ISIS. The idea is simple. By making ISIS angry, there's a higher chance that one of them will slip up, and they can either take down their social media accounts or report them to the police. So Anonymous began spamming Twitter with memes, in hopes it would offend members of ISIS.
We milk the goats, even if they are male.
Notice me, Alice in Pie.
Just doing my part. Happy #ISIS trolling day, everybody. It's draining trolls for #dashbags today.
The memes continued to roll in, and it was clear some of the members of ISIS were beginning to take notice. One user was even able to pull the Twitter data and found that over 30,000 people used the Troll ISIS Day hashtag. But it didn't just stop there. There would also be protests from Europe, to America, to Asia, to even Australia. It was literally a global movement against terrorist organizations. And at the end of the day, almost everyone there just wanted global peace. Although Anonymous was able to catch more members of ISIS, it wasn't clear how much of an impact this event made on the war. Throughout the following years, ISIS was still a major target, but they were beginning to lose steam. At this time, the legal government of Syria, run by Bashar al-Assad, with the help of their Russian allies and a US-led coalition, was mounting a devastating ground campaign against the Islamic State, retaking city after city. The effort was bolstered by users on 4chan, which I talk about in this video. Regardless, the campaign was successful, and by 2019, the Islamic Caliphate talk about in this
The time 4chan called an airstrike, they call what? 4chan needs to take a chill
video.
pill.
Regardless, the campaign was successful, and by 2019, the Islamic Caliphate had largely ceased to exist. But this wasn't quite the end of ISIS's influence. In January 2021, the Ghost Sect leader, Sebastian Dante Alexander, came to the rest of the group with a series of chat logs. Through these, he was able to locate an ISIS camp, as well as reveal their plan to conduct a bomb attack somewhere in Iraq. He took it upon himself to inform the relevant authorities, although they would do nothing to help. But when the day finally came, the militants made a mistake and accidentally blew up the bomb before they got to the site. Sebastian took to the public and expressed his annoyance for the intelligence agencies he told. According to my anonymous source, this was the last time they had ever targeted an operation against ISIS, ending 4chan cyberwar on terrorism for the time being.
Bum, bum, bum. Oh, 3-hour video. Empire of Iron.